All right, welcome to the Quarantine Check-In. I'm your host, Robert Frank, and I'm tonight with my favorite comedian from Omaha, Nebraska, Jeremy Plumb. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm doing good. Feels good. Just enjoying the day the best I can.
How is? Are you guys under lockdown there?
Kinda. So schools are closed. Rents and stuff like that is like evictions aren't happening. Um, Most businesses are closed, if not just doing delivery. So pretty much we're all in lockdown. The governor suggested we don't meet in groups of 10 or more. So yeah, pretty much.
That sucks. It's a little bit worse here. Like you can't meet at all. There's no bar. Every bar and restaurant is closed.
Most There's what?
There's delivery. That's about it.
Yeah, most bars are closed, but I think I just drove by a coffee shop that was like just delivering coffee, or like the ice cream store by our house is delivering. Like
That
no one's allowed in the store, but we have an out window that we're gonna drop it for you.
delivery ice cream just makes no sense.
It doesn't, especially when it's Cold Stone. Like I don't get any of it, but that's that.
Sometimes you just gotta have it size or whatever it's called.
I guess you gotta have it.
So
Yeah.
we met 2 years ago at the Paul Bunyan Comedy Festival, which was freaking awesome.
It was great. I still have my little card that says Jeremy Plumb comedian on it. I keep it in my wallet all the time. Love that thing.
To show that you're a comedian. Where were you
I'm a
last?
card carrying comedian.
Where were you last year? How come you weren't part of it?
I forgot. I mean, I didn't know it happened. I forgot to put in. That's what it was. So I want to do it again when I can. Try and just apply when I can to do it again. Because I met some good friends. Like I still keep in touch with Larry Smith or Alex Kane. I just talked to Tina a couple of days ago. Like it's been meeting. Nice to have comedy friends.
It was a great time. Actually, Larry's coming here at the end of May to do one of my shows.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah,
He's a great guy. Him and I've done few shows back and forth. He's done a show with me in Lincoln. I've done a couple of shows for him in Illinois. One of them was at an elk lodge, and that was a wild fucking night. The crowd was crazy, but the gig was good. It was just a fun gig. It was a fun night. Larry is the one of the best people you'll have for company and for comedy.
Larry is also one of the nicest people you'll ever meet in comedy.
Big old teddy bear. Big old teddy bear. Love him.
Yeah, last year was interesting. I'll be honest. Last year's Paul Bunyan wasn't as good as the first year, but
It's all new people hosting it, right?
no, there was a lot of the same. It was me, Tom, Louie, Alex Kane, and Calvin. Calvin was there.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was new people. There's some good people. It just wasn't as fun as the first year.
The first year was fun. I remember the first night we all did it, I heard a rumor that a bar across the street was doing an open mic. So I was already kind of drunk at the time. It was like a couple of days before my birthday. And I grabbed everyone and was like, hey, we should storm this fucking open mic. And we did. 30 of us came in, and I've never seen us an open mic. They said, hey, too many people are signing up. We're going to have to cut. It was great.
No, you're not remembering it right. It was because I was hosting, and I brought up the drunk meth guy.
Oh, yeah. It was a fun night. That was a good night. That was a real good night.
It was a lot of fun. I actually hosted it again the second year.
No way.
It went a little bit. It wasn't as fun or chaotic.
It's also a nice little town. I love that town. Good food, beautiful lakes. I think like every morning I woke up and I just walked to the lakes and just spent some time out there. It was freezing cold, but it was nice to just kind of walk along the beach.
Yeah. Oh, didn't it snow while we were up there?
It did snow a little bit. Yeah, it did. But I was just like kind of old man walking and just looking at the water. contemplating life.
Yeah. That hotel was creepy.
It was a creepy hotel. It was. I feel like I got my own room then. Yeah. Because I didn't know any comedians and I didn't. People say, hey, let's all share rooms, but I didn't know anyone and I didn't want to be like. I didn't want to impose. I was nervous. That was my first festival. So I was like, I'm just going to pay a little extra and get my own room. And it was nice. It was nice.
It was. So, how long have you been doing comedy?
It'll be 5 years in like June or July. I forget the day, but it's around June or July. It's either June 15th or July 15th. It'll be 5 years soon, actually.
And have you been doing the whole time in Omaha?
I've done like regularly, like where my open mics are, yeah. But I think I've performed in about 7 different states so far over this 4 years.
What state have you performed in?
Shit. Let's remember here. I did Iowa, Illinois, California, Michigan, Missouri, and I know there's one I'm forgetting. And South Dakota. So 6, including 7, including Nebraska.
Where in Missouri did you perform?
Fuck,
Was it Kansas City or St. Louis?
Oh, St. Louis. It was St. Louis. I did Tom Brown show. Yes, it was St. Louis, Missouri.
I'm supposed to do that in 2 weeks, but I really doubt that's happening.
The comic shop?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. That was fun. I did that on Halloween. That was a good time. Tom Brown's also a really nice guy.
He's a great guy.
He is a good guy. I feel like there's one I'm missing, but yeah, those are the main states I've done. But most of my stomping grounds has been Omaha or Lincoln. If there's an open mic in Lincoln and I have the means to get up there, I'll drive up there and I'll do some shows or open mics out there.
What made you want to get into comedy?
As a kid, I always wanted to do comedy, but as a kid, I kind of conflated that with comedy acting because I knew comedians as Whoopi Goldberg and Robin Williams. But the story, what got me into it is I was doing forensics, and I love talking to people. I love doing speeches for people. It makes me happy. And then I got on stage at an open mic because I was doing a comedy speech, and I wanted to work on comedy. And it felt like a puzzle piece. Like landed in my head that never existed before, and it was a type of joy I never had, and I wanted to keep doing it. And I keep doing it because I've related to people, I've connected to people, and I get to talk about stuff that's very personal to me, and rather to make it less scary. Like I talk about depression, I talk about my thoughts and feelings, and sometimes that makes it less scary. Sometimes I just like making people. I've always liked making people happy, and that's why I keep doing it. I just want to make people happy. I want to, make things that seem scary less scary, and I just want to be connecting to people and make people happy and laugh.
That's really cool. I feel the same way. It's weird how I recently watched my first performance ever, and it's really cool to see how much I've evolved since then.
I'm so glad I don't have that. Back then I was a worse. Like once I started regularly doing comedy after the first open mic, I had a tweed jacket, black shirt underneath.
No.
And I would do one-liners. Yeah. I would do one-liners with a kazoo.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I'm glad there isn't any there's a picture of me doing it. I'm just glad there's no video of it. In fact, during the quarantine, I found the fucking kazoo and it's right here. And I hate myself for it, but I love how dumb it was.
Can you do one of your original jokes with the kazoo?
I would do. One of them was actually my brother's, so I try not to do that one anymore. But it was a one-liner that I probably still do. Oh, yeah. I had a lot of dreams growing up. I wanted to be a superhero, I wanted to be a truck driver, and I wanted to meet my dad. That was one of the old jokes. I still do it sometimes, but not with the fucking kazoo. Now I understand, like, that just fucks everything up. That kazoo fucks the pacing of everything up. Oh, it was a nightmare mistake.
But you were zany back then.
I was because I lived in the 80s apparently, and I don't get it.
Maybe it's because I don't know. Maybe you were conceived on coke from the 80s.
No, I think it's just like I think I just only saw 80s comedy.
Oh no.
I think I only knew that and Seinfeld. And if it wasn't Seinfeld on stage, it was like that guy that wanted to be Seinfeld, and he also had a tweed jacket and shit. Yeah, Banana. So yeah, no, it wasn't a good idea. No, I made some bad decisions back then. And on the podcast, I have a podcast that I host, Running the Light. Me and David Kalsgaard, he says, yeah, for years, nobody wanted to book you. Even years after you did stop doing that shit, no one wanted to book you because all they remember was the kazoo and the tweed jacket.
Oh man.
So, first impressions matter, kids.
What's the Omaha scene like?
Good. You know, it's steady. We got like 20, 30 regular comics. We have had a bunch of shows. We have 2 clubs. We have the Funny Bone, which local comics can't host until they win a Clash of the Comics. Or we have a bunch of bar shows. We also have the Backline. Backline is an improv theater. They do sketches, or they're doing sketch classes now. I don't know if they have any sketch shows yet, except for Cameron Logston's late night style show. But they also do stand up, and they are they help keep the scene alive. A lot of the shows are done at Backline. A lot of people know it through there. We have about, if you count Lincoln and you count mix open mics, which includes, mics with poetry in them, I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 open mics a week. So you can stay busy.
Now you run a show, or you used to run a show, right?
Used to run a show called Wrenches Thrown. That was a show that was lived before. I ran multiple shows during those 2 years. I did a show called Through the Hard Way. I did, which was a crowd work show. And I did a show called Wrenches Thrown. Both of those kind of petered, but I brought Wrenches Thrown back at another club. We also have a new club called the Big Canvas Theater. They also do improv and sketches. And unfortunately, I did the Sabotage show on like day 1 of the quarantine.
Ouch.
So not gonna do it for a while. Yeah. Right now, the only shows I'm hosting is the podcast.
How do you think comedy is going to come out when all this is said and done? How do you think it's going to change? Do you think we're going to see a lot of venues closed because of this?
We're going to see venues close. Period. That's just an unfortunate reality, I think. I think places like the Backline are doing the best they can by doing a Patreon page as well as live streaming shows. And I think that's great. I think comedy for a while, I think once it's all back, I think people are going to be more willing to go to shows. Maybe. But I think it's going to be slow. I think it's going to be slow to start again. I think on the negative, I think it's going to be slow to start. And I think some black box theaters are going to die or close. Let's use that phrase. They're going to close. And I don't like that. I don't like the idea of local comedy suffering. But on the plus, you know how every July 1st you see a bunch of new comics come out or a bunch of new people who want to try open mics?
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to happen again. I think a lot of people are going to come out again, hopefully. I think bars and places, bar shows and all places might be more open to it again because it brings people back outside. I think at the beginning, small shows, alt shows might thrive. Maybe. I hope. because people are going to be excited to just get out of the house and do something. That's what I think.
They're going to want something to laugh at.
They're going to want something to laugh at. And also just like, hey, do you want to get out of the house and just do something? Yeah. Hey, this thing costs $5. Cool. I'm going. I don't care. I need out of the house. And optimistic me says, I hope that's it. I hope that's it. I also know that fear, once we open the gate again, I think fear is still going to be there. I know for me with OCD, two thoughts I've been fighting is home is safe and I need to stay safe, which you do. You need to stay safe, but like I don't need to turn into a afraid of the outside, or I need to also make sure I'm not obsessing about germs. And I know a lot of people, once that door is open, we might still have those fears of maybe I'm afraid to go outside. And that might happen. I think comedy's just going to be weird. I think the short answer is it's weird. It's going to be weird, but it might boom and it might not.
What are your goals once this is all over?
To be funny.
Well,
I think that's the first one.
If you're ever out this way, I would love to have you on one of my shows because I think you're hilarious.
Well, thank you. I'd love to be on. Honestly, my goal before the quarantine was more stories. So honestly, I'm going to pretend like that's still the goal. And I'm going to keep writing longer bits that have laugh lines sprinkled in. And I think my goal is to create more and keep creating once this is done. And to keep writing if I feel comfortable doing it and not force myself. That's what I'm learning in the quarantine. It's not to force yourself to do anything.
I was going to ask you one more thing.
Yeah.
How do you think? Actually, I kind of asked that one already. Actually, what is your long-term goal with comedy?
I'm known for cutting and for getting jokes, so I have a decent 20. I have a solid 20. After 4 years, I have a very solid 20 that I am proud of. My goal is to hit 30. My goal is to hit an hour. Those are my quick long-term goals, but my goal is to get more self-sufficient with comedy, I think. I'm starting to get, paid a little bit more, paid a little bit more regularly during shows. I would like to be more self-sufficient and just work on it more, and pour more energy into the podcast. Like, what I loved about the podcast that I host is it's about comics giving each other help and all of us bringing each other up. And so bringing myself up and bringing others up.
What's it called? And I'll add a link to it below.
It's Running the Light, and you can listen to it everywhere. And I will, I'll send you a link to it. But I like bringing people up, and I want to bring myself up and be a smarter, better comedian with a more polished set, and who's not afraid to take chances and do dumb shit. Not kazoo dumb, but like smart dumb, like interact with crowd dumb. But just be a smarter comic and travel more. That's always been my goal. My goal is to be in every state. I want to go and perform in every state.
I've been lucky to perform in a bunch of states, and last year got to perform internationally, which was kind of awesome.
Nice.
I was really happy that most of my jokes translated.
That is something I'm curious about. Actually, coming out on Wednesday, I forgot the name of it, but there's a new stand-up special on Netflix. But what's interesting about it, it's from a Swedish comedian, and it's all subtitled.
I don't know if I could watch that.
I kind of, that might be a future episode, or even like I'm thinking about doing mini episodes in the time being. I'm thinking about doing mini episodes of the podcast. I want to talk about that because that's the most interesting thing for me right now is how do people interpret jokes? How do people in different backgrounds interpret jokes? Different audiences. Some people try to write whole new sets for different audiences, and that's just bullshit. Just writing what you think is funny and writing what works for you. And so that's what I'm curious about with this international comedy.
Well, what I found, and I should have done my research when I did the show in Manchester. I had a joke where my punchline is about Geico Insurance.
Yeah.
I was getting laughter out of the joke, and then I got to my punchline. I'm thinking to myself, oh, fuck. They don't have Geico Insurance over here. So I just wasted a minute and a half that I could have done something else.
Exactly. I was in LA doing a bar show, and I have a joke that works well in Omaha. I say having sex before marriage to Catholics is the second biggest sin there is, that and voting Democrat. And as a Nebraskan who looks very liberal, yeah, that's funny. In LA, and I'm brought up as the Nebraskan, no, they don't know where I stand. So I need to address who I am better.
Did Alex put you up at Flappers?
Uh, Actually, the first year I was very afraid to ask to do Flappers because I didn't have a letter of recommendation. I didn't feel prepared. And then when I was leaving, I told Alex this. He goes, "Hey, just call me. I would have put you up on Flappers." And my plan was this year to go to LA and do Flappers, but I don't know when this is done. So I was going to go in the summer, but I don't know when this is over. So if it is, I would like to go out to LA and maybe do Flappers.
I want to go back out there and do more rooms. I have a bunch of friends out there. Except
I doing the bars, like I did the Fourth Wall. The Fourth Wall is a really fun place. I did there's that really small back room, and I can't remember. It was a really fun show with Ian and Sean White and Crystal Adams. I can't remember the show. I can't remember the place. I think it was called like The Last Drink or something.
Was it? It wasn't in Van Nuys, was it?
It was in Van Nuys, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I had Flappers. I had a friend who was doing that room, and he could have got me up that night. And I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, I also love alt shows, man. Like if it's not like granted, I'm new, so almost everything's not been in a club or a comedy club. But man, bar shows are fun. They're rowdy, they just want to play. And small town shows, if you get a chance, small town shows are fucking awesome.
I did a small town show up in Michigan, and it did not go well for me. It did not go well at all.
Yeah, what happened?
I talked about being Jewish, and a woman threw out the K word to me.
I did some jokes about I went to one small town in Illinois, and some lady asked me some inappropriate questions. Some of those, that's the risk, and those are terrible. But I remember doing a small town in Nebraska. That's name escapes me. The entire town came out. Every other bar was like no one was there, and that's fun because people, they also say, "Hey, you're from the big city, Omaha," and I go, "No, come on." It's fun. Like they just, when there's not a outlet for comedy, people are hungry for comedy and they want to laugh and they want to experience something, anything. And that's what I think is going to happen when this comes back.
I hope so. I can't wait to perform again. I feel lost without it. And I haven't got nerve up to do a virtual open mic yet.
There's one tomorrow and I'm thinking about it. I'm working on the Zoom. I have Zoom. I have Zoom Pro now, and I have Rescreen, and I'm trying to figure out how to get those two to work so I can then stream Zoom to Twitch. And I'm thinking about this weekend or maybe next weekend doing a show.
Well, that'd be cool.
Yeah, at the time, the other good thing about comedy is for the people, by the people. So this is our time, make shit, and bring it out to the people. We got a chance to do it, That's
why I'm doing this.
Yeah. Right? Just like, fuck it. It's art. Like, just trying to take over and make art super viable for everyone to access. And comedy's gonna be weird in a virtual screen, but it might work. We don't know yet.
I've been watching Flappers on YouTube. They're a virtual open mic.
Yeah.
It just feels like a bunch of people hanging out trying to make each other laugh and not really doing their set. So I might try that with one of them here this weekend.
Yeah, back rooms. That's like the back room of comedy shows, man.
So I usually end this by reading to you a misconnection that I found on Craigslist because I have been and been scouring the country for the best ones. So I'm going to read one to you, and if you could make a joke about it, that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
So this one's from Heartland. I don't know where Heartland was. It's in. I don't know where it is. Donor.
Finding love in the heartland. I get it, man. I get it. Finding love in the heartland.
Looking for someone to get me pregnant. Age isn't a big deal to me. Please send stats and pics with your message.
Stats?
Stats. STATS.
Stats okay.
And pics with your message. And yes, it will be done the old-fashioned way. So must be clean. More details to come. And obviously more conversations about how this will work.
So questions. I went to Catholic school, so I'm not. I don't know the sex very well. I don't get it. Is the old-fashioned way like meeting up with a fuckboy on Craigslist? Because I missed a few days. Holy shit. Wow. Also, I just want to get pregnant. Yeah, I've been to small town Nebraska. I used to live there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm bored. I want to get pregnant. Holy hell, that's weird.
I actually replied to this one and sent her my stats. Hit a home run.
Oh, stats. Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
Okay, got my stats. Well, actually, I'm a level 5 drow. My charisma stat is dog shit, but so is my strength and my wisdom and my intelligence.
And you a shitty roll 20-sided die for your stats.
Dude, it was bad. My evasive. Wait, shit. I old D&D is called evasiveness. I forgot what it is in 5e. But my evasiveness is really good. So that's it. So if you need someone to like get you pregnant and then run away, I can do that. Yeah.
Funny, man.
Well, my stat is great.
That's a great stat. And I like the fact that you made it a D&D joke.
Woo!
Thank you very much for doing this. Hopefully the show will end by April 30th.
Hopefully, but yeah.
Thank you very much, and join us tomorrow. We have regional comedian David Crumbly on here, and on Wednesday, Polania, and on Thursday, the first comedian we had on the show who's been on Colbert, Carmen Lagala.
Oh shit! Oh, cool! Awesome. So a big Colbert fan, so that's cool. Awesome. Thank you for having me on. Every day I'll be reading like video game books. Like I just finished Mega Man 2 and Castlevania.
Yes, I've been watching you do that. That is awesome.
Once I finish Castlevania 2, I'm thinking Doom.
No, not Doom.
The Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, I will put a link to that as well. That is awesome.
Well, thank you. Seriously, it's been great seeing you again.
Yeah, hopefully I'll see you this year at some point. Have you one of my shows.
That'd be great.
Come out to Omaha.
I'll keep you to it.
All right, cool, man.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.